so today's video I'm going to show you how I made all of these wonderful monotone colored cards. They are a stack and whack method. I've made the journal cards before, whatever you want to call them. You can use them as tags, pockets, belly bands, journal cards with the stack and whack method. So the ones I made before were using a variety of patterns. The ones I chose to do for this video involve, as you can see, monotone patterns. So each card has shades of one color, hence for my journals that I would be working on. All right, let me get these out of the way and then I will show you, don't want to mix them up, show you how I did them if you've not seen the whack and stack method before. But these are beautiful. Love them. So, get those out of the way. We are going to do, I still haven't done the purple ones, and that's the ones I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show you how we started out, how I got to this point. So, I chose scrapbook paper that had patterns on it, and I tried to get shades of different patterns for them. Now, what I did is I started out with the 12 by 12 piece of paper, as you see there. So what I did is I cut the 12 by 12 down to first an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, because I like to use those for my journals, and I run them through the printer. So I have just a couple of them here where I have this one, ran it through the printer, so I have a page for my journal. So since I cut the pages down from 12 by 12 to 8.5 by 11, the 8.5 to 12 left a 3.5 inch strip. So with the 3.5 inch strip, I had the 12 inch by 3.5 inch strip. So I took those strips and I cut them down in half. So they ended up being approximately 6 inches, because they were 12, 6 inches by 3.5. So I have a stack of the original sheets of paper that I still have 3.5 by 6 for all of my patterns that I can add into, make into journal cards, or rip them up, scrap, collage, whatever. I still have a stack of those, but then I took the 5 ones to make the stack and wax to go with it. Now, the other thing I did then was I took a solid piece of cardstock, and with each of them, I picked a solid cardstock. This one happened to be two-sided. Like pink, red, orange, a yellow, green, a teal, and a blue. I picked those. Also, I had those as 12 by 12 to start. I did the same. I didn't do the same thing because I didn't need an 8.5 by 11. But what I did is I cut them in half to be 6 by 12, and then I cut them down to be the 3.5 for that. Now what that leaves behind is just a little scrap, because 3.5 plus 3.5 is 7, and 3.5 is 10.5. So it leaves approximately 1.5 inch strip that of course I can save for, you know, whatevers. All right, so those are the extra cards. So when you cut a 12 by 12 down into 3.5 by 6, you end up with 6 pieces of paper. If you start with 5 sheets, you only need 5 of them, but I'll show you what I do with the, how I end up using the extra one to help me out. Okay, so we're gonna just put these in any sort of order. If you've ever quilted before or seen a quilt item, they like to do lights, mediums, darks. This one is not as many lights, mediums, and darks, but I would call that light, medium, and dark. And I try to like not put 2 lights together, 2 darks together, kind of alternated them. Okay, so you take your 5 sheets that are the 3.5, and why is that one so much longer? Oh, it's not, it just didn't settle right. Okay, so you take the 3.5 by 6, and we're going to tear it into 5 different pieces. Now, the whack and stack method, or stack and whack method from quilting, uses scissors to cut pieces, and then they, you know, they stack, they whack them, they stack them, they re-sew them together. You could use a cutter and cut them straight, but it's just as easy and just as fun to use them and tear them. So that's what we're going to do. Now, when I originally saw it, putting paper clips on there to hold them, I don't find that that's necessary to do anymore. So if you want to put paper clips on there to hold them, that is up to you. I do have, if you search my channel, I do have the original video where I do paper clip it together, but I'm very confident in the way this is working now. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to tear a top part for the top, and it can be any length. So we're just going to tear it. One thing I would say is try to make sure that you keep grabbing near the tear so they try to rip as even as possible. All right, then we're going to rip somewhere for the next one. We just want three separate layers to start. Now I did different things on here, on each one. This one, I've got a big angle, smaller on the top, bigger on the bottom. The yellows are a little bit bigger in the center. Yeah, they're pretty much very similar in general. I don't think there's much, oh, and then the greens, I had really tiny in the center. So it can be any way that you want it to go. All right, so for the top portion, we are now going to rip that in half. And I don't like to rip straight down. I like to rip at a bit of an angle, just to give it a little bit of a personality. And then the bottom with the same. And since I went that way, I'm going to go that way. Again, personality. Okay, so there is our 5 pieces. 5 sheets of paper to start, 5 pieces to cut. All right, so next I'm going to lay out my backgrounds. Now, one of the reasons that I chose to use very similar color backgrounds for this was for a couple reasons, but mostly it was for peek-throughs. Like this, if you can see the teal in the back of this one, because sometimes they shift a little as you tear them. Pieces are a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, and you end up with little rivers. And if it's the same sort of color, then you don't have to worry about it. So that's why I chose to pick backgrounds. Now, originally when I did it, I believe I chose white or off-white for it, and I ended up using inking to kind of shade it in there. I happen to see, I'm stopping for a second because I happen to see this got cut a little wonky. I just want to get rid of that part there. And I made it wonkier. There we go. Now I can always go back and cut it afterwards if it's not looking good for that. All right, so simple part, glue book in here and my glue stick ready to go. All right, so what you do is you can start with the top corner piece, and what you're going to do is you're going to take the pieces and lay them out into your five spots. So we're going to just start with 1 and move along, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the second one you're going to start, whoa, don't fall over. The second one you're going to start on the second one because you want to alternate the tags so that each one ends up with a different tag, all 5 tags in the end, all in different spots. Okay, so for the third one, which is the middle one, we're going to start on the 3rd tag, and so on and so forth. And the 4th piece, we're going to start with the 4th tag, and the last piece, we're going to start with the 5th tag, and there we go. Okay, so we're going to just push these out of the way because I can only glue one at a time. Try to keep them as basically as in order as I can. So this is where the last one comes into play. The 6th one. Again, must have got jumped the guard wire when I was cutting it. All right, so for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these onto this one and keep transferring it. And then I'll end up with one extra at the end. Okay, I am going to use a glue stick. You can use our glitter glue if you want. I find a glue stick is just fine and dandy for this. So, all right, I'm going to start with the bottom piece because it's closest to me. I find it easier to be able to eyeball it. And we'll go from there. We're just going to glue these all together. And the second one is going to go right here, change hands, Now, it's probably hard to see, but there's a little bit of a line down there and a little bit of a line on the side. But again, it's purple, so you can't tell. If I wanted to go back after this is all dry and snip it even, I could do that. Now, the next one I'm going to do is actually going to be the top corner. I have done it where I kind of go in order. There is no right answer to this, but I find it to be the best way to do it is this way. Because when we get to the center, if it's off with a gaping hole, you can center it. Because sometimes, you know, you'll put this right here, even, but then when you get up to go here, if you put it at the top, you got this big gaping hole. Well, you don't want that necessarily. So if you go to put this last, it's going to center it a little bit better and be a little bit more even. And as you can see, that was another reason why to cut it at an angle, because I knew that was wrong. Because it did not match my arches on the top and bottom layer. Okay, there's number one. Simple, right? Okay, so I'm going to take that one, and that's the one it's going to glue on. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this for a sec. Glue on the back. Unfortunately, this paper catalog is great to use as a glue book because it was free. And who doesn't like free? And it's huge. I've shown it before, but 1,000 pages. So it's going to last me a while. The problem is once there's a little bit of stickiness on there, this ink, this cheap ink that they use to print their catalog, ends up transferring onto things. So we don't want that to happen. All right, so hopefully your day is going well. Mine has been superb so far. I spent much of the day gluing the other colors because I figured there's no reason to glue 7 colors on camera. Talk about redundant. But I definitely wanted to show at least one set being done, especially for the people who have not seen it happen before. But it's not a new thing. I forget who did it because it was done a while ago, but it's definitely not a new thing. But I really like the idea of doing monochrome colors for all my journals. Okay, you are all done. Now, the other thing that I've been doing the past couple days is getting stuff together to make the journals, the colored journals that I'm going to be working on. Now, last time I checked, the survey poll was tied with a couple responses, but it was mostly leaning toward doing one color at a time or doing the one color at a time with 2 journals. So I'm good with that. So I think I'm going to be doing the one color at a time. And I kind of made a list of ways to do journals. So what I'm going to do is my old standby. The first journal is going to be using the envelope, manila envelope, whatever you want to call that. These envelopes. Where you wrap the fabric around and glue them together, sew them possibly in a normal size setting. And then the second one that I do will be something a little different. I've made a list of about 9 different ways to do different journals. So each one will be each month or each journal color will have a different second journal type to go with it. Like one month I'll do a tall skinny journal with the same envelope. But so it'll look different, yet very similar. Because when I was going through stuff, I really have been finding a lot of goodies to go with it. Like here's the purple so far. So I went through and, like I said, I printed more pages to go with it. I got some of my paint chips and journal cards, color cards, just started other kind of papers. So I'm just going through and finding a whole bunch of stuff to go with it for the journals, and I really think that I'm going to have enough to do for sure. 2 in each color. So that's, at this point, I'm 99% sure that's what I'm going to do. Now, I think I've got a color order that I'd like to do it in, and I kind of trying to focus on maybe doing one per month to not like try to do them too quickly. So I was thinking about doing, the first one was going to be blue, and that's why I did the 2 blue samples with pictures on it, because I wanted to get a couple of those done first. And so I picked blue because blue is kind of cool colors like ice. January, I was fine with that. And then for February, I was planning to do the pink one next, kind of like a Valentine's. And then March, I was going to do green, St. Patrick's Day. And then April, I believe, I have my list somewhere. I think April I was going to do teal or yellow. I forget. For April showers. Oh, I think it was probably teal, the rain. And then May was going to be yellow because the sun comes out with the showers. And then June was going to be orange because it was getting warmer. Sun was coming out. And then July I was going to do red for the red, white, and blue. Gotta get rid of this bag. Colors. I think that was it. So there were seven journals, 7 colors. So that would be, yeah, July is the 7th month. So that would be, I believe, the order I was going to go in. Now, if I get a journal done every 2 weeks and it ends up that way, then I might go a different color order. I'm not sure. But the thing is, I have still lots of things to make to go with it. Pockets and journal cards and etc. So my thought is kind of like this, where I will probably, especially for the January video, I'll be making pockets and tags, and I'll be making bases for all the colors, but then I will only go and decorate like the blue ones for that. So again, it's kind of all a work in progress because I'm not exactly sure. Never done it before. So any helps or ideas or thoughts or how you want to see it, I'd love to hear in the comments, because this is, after all, also supposed to be inspiring for you to make your own color journals or a series of journals or something like that. So, but even if you're not making a series of color journals, kind of be fun to make some monochrome whack and stack, stack and whack tags. I think they came out really cool. I like them. I definitely like them. Okay, and then the other top one and the one center, and these will be done. Oops. Oh my. You see what I'm talking about? Like, this one's really overhanging it, and it's not, you know, and then like this first one here was farther apart. This is where it was ripped in the tags, depending on how big it was apart. So I think I've gone through almost a whole glue stick doing this. There's been a lot of gluing. Okay. All right, there we go. Yeah, so you can see there's just a little bit of color creeping through, which is no big deal. All right, so that was the 5th one, and we have the extra card that I can leave with the pile. Go with it. Seem to have lost the solids. Not sure where they went to. yeah, so 5 different cards with the same 5 papers. Fun. Now, if this one's a bit darker, so if I wanted to make it into a journal card, I could back it with something other than this, take some paper and just back it with that. That would work. So most of these, though, were a bit of a lighter look in the back, so they can definitely be used to journal on. You can sort of see also the whites peeking through when I go to make them. I can just trim that white off for that. Now, the other thing I wanted to say for these is these first 2 I made for the blue are journal cards. But if I wanted to turn one into, say, a pocket, I could definitely turn it sideways. I would have to trim it down a bit because these are 6 inches and put a notch hole in there. But it just as easily would go this way. It can even go this way for a journal card decorated versus up and down. It could go cut down this way, become some sort of a belly band to go in there, glue 2 sides on a page, make it into a tuck. Lots of versatility on these, especially if you use the thicker cardstock in the back. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm going to let these purples dry. Take the tube. Should have one more blue. Oh, there's my solids. They were just hiding in there. There's the 3rd blue. All right. Get these under something heavy. All right, so I'm thinking that I'm going to make one of these into a pocket when I was talking about that, and we will decorate that. So I think I might want this one as a pocket. We'll put these to the side for now. And I'll get my little choppy guy out. Felt a little wobbly for a second. All right, so we're gonna just cut a bit off that side, make it 5 1/4. So just cut a little bit off, and I am gonna just straighten that. There's a little bit of tag showing. There we go. Nice and clean now. And we'll put I think we'll do it this way. Put a thumb hole in there. Whoops, hope that wasn't too loud. It slipped right out of my hand. Okay, start by inking it. Okay. All right, now get my blue decorations out of here. See what we got to work with. I like that fish. It's cute. Now again, we are not going to put everything on there, just blue. I'm just trying to get some focal point to go with it. I think I do like the fish. All right, we can go with the fish. All right, and I was thinking, got some tickets here. I think I might want that one. Rain check with the fish, right? That could be kind of fun. Okay, let's do that. All right, I got a bit of paper here. just to break it up a little bit. Yeah, I think we'll go with that, and then we'll see what else we want to add to it. Okay. I also do have my colored washi tape here, so I can add some of that to it. Okay, let's get a little bit of this piece. Don't want something too big. All right, I think I need something bigger than that. Now that I'm seeing it on there. All right, let's go with the flower. Could work good. All right, unexpected cutting. So I'll trim this and be right back. All right, I am back with that all nice and cut and ready to glue. And I've lost my, nope, there's the glue. Like, how could you lose the glue? It's right there. Okay, put this right there. Now, sometimes I feel bad after all that work of gluing stuff on and then covering it up with something, but you have to do what you have to do, right? There we go. All right. Now I think this might be too much now. Put that there. Okay. Now this is, there we go, washi sticker, so it should be okay. Go right there. And then we'll put that right there. And, oh, I forgot to mention earlier, I whipped up a new batch of tapes. I love them. Fun, fun, fun. I had a strip I cut off already. There we go. That I used on the first two. So I'm gonna. I used the. It's hard to tell. It's a little glossy now, but I actually used the matte finish Scotch tape, which worked really well. I've made this before. There I have a couple, actually 2 videos, I think, on it on my site, but they're fun and quick and easy to make, that's for sure. All right, put that there, and I think we're gonna put that right there. Well, you didn't wrap very well. Okay. Yeah, cute pocket. That'll be fun. So we get one of the pages in the journal. We'll be able to attach it as a pocket and be able to stick some sort of tag in there. Fun. I like it. Okay, well, all right. right, so probably, I'm not sure, I might be doing a few more videos where I start making some pockets or some tags. In between, I will whip up the journal and get that going. If you want to see step-by-step on how to make a journal, leave a comment below so I make sure that I do that. I've done quite a few already, so I might just come back with finished journal with the pages in there for that, and just go with more of the decorating and the different types of journals. But it's kind of, like I said, it's all kind of up in the air right now for what we're going to do. But at least for now, I do have, for my first blue journal that I'll be doing, I do have 2 journal cards and a pocket. I've got 2 more left over for that. And then, of course, we have the future. The future looks sunny and bright, doesn't it? All right, well, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye now.